is a couple of guards here. Oh, no, not quest givers. I didn't want to do that. Too expensive. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Make them go delete, undo. Now, what the hell was it that I was doing? I can't remember. Oh, right. I was going to do some things with the landscaping, and then that was leading into the thing with the thing that I haven't explained the thing yet. So, hello everyone, welcome back to that one playthrough of MMORPG Tycoon 2. I am Kyle once again, and you find us once again in Zafir, hopefully on a better note than the last time we left off, because, well, as you may well know from the last episode and its ending, we didn't quite get to show off everything that we actually did in that recording session. So what I'd like to start off with is a little bit of what's been going on. First and foremost, I left you off with the little cliffhanger of this guy right here, our little sand snake or sandworm, whatever you want to call him. But he's chilling out, hiding here, kind of creeping about to ready to pounce on some unexpected players. Yes, we don't have a name for this guy yet, so I kind of need to think about that, and I'll probably think about it over the course of the episode. But he's got kind of a wonky tail, and he's got legs. He's got the raptor legs in the back, and he's got the praying mantis legs in the front, which kind of give him the mechanisms to crawl through the sand quickly, which is kind of what I was just going for. But yeah, overall he's got some funky things going on, but he's really cool. And I thought it was a good touch to kind of have something as an enemy through here that's unique to the sands. Maybe they appear somewhere else later on in the game too as well. For the time being, though, I think it's a cool little touch. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep this elite guy here. I might just put some mobs throughout this portion to kind of make it tough for players to think they can just traverse some of this landscape like it's been abandoned and taken over back by those creatures of the sand. Additionally, there was another that I made, and this one I put a little more detail in. Now, I wanted to create somewhat of a boss here at the prison. So we have our skeletons here that are scattered about, and then in the back here we've got kind of a boss. So to explain our friend here, this is a throne deserter. Now, the throne deserter is based on the throne watcher. However, this was a throne watcher that was in charge of keeping track of the prison itself, along with our friend here, Commander Brightus, or Beltris rather. And the two of them were in charge of keeping track of all of the guards and the prisoners within the prison. So as a result of the explosion that killed a bunch of prisoners and guards and created all the skeletons and raised the dead, one of our throne watchers was a victim of this, and as such he has become a throne deserter, unfortunately. Now, I'll kind of briefly go over what my basis here was. I wanted to make him similar to the throne watcher, but kind of in a reverse fashion in a sense. So he's got a ton of health, and he's going to use rage instead of mana. Not too fast, so some of our player classes should be able to kind of kite him, but he is going to be something in this sense that's going to be required to do as a group, so you'll need a party to take him down. This is technically an elite. You'll see he's massive compared to our normal skeleton sizes here, so it kind of creates a unique raid boss in this area. I haven't attached a quest to it. He just disappeared in the building. Where'd you go? Oh, he's out the backside now. Hello guy. There's a lot of spikes there. You should probably be careful. Anyways, I just wanted the single unit of enemy on him, so I made him an elite. So he's really big, scary, and really strong, which is kind of cool. But overall, his abilities, I wanted to make them kind of the opposite of what the Throne Watcher was. So his normal regular strike is the Corrupted Blade. It does slightly more damage, and by slightly I mean 0.2 more damage than the normal basic attack on the Throne Watcher. His second ability is the Soul Steal. Again, everything taking rage. This is going to siphon health, so he has the ability to deal damage and then also replenish his own health. Obviously here he's going to be level 4, so he's a little bit stronger, so 5.1 health. And then this also puts a weaken on the enemy, so it's not as good as the protect that is on the Throne Watcher, but I wanted it to kind of be the opposite side of the coin of that protective class. And instead of applying a protect like the Throne Watcher, he's going to apply a weaken. State of Decay, this is going to generate rage over time for him, so it's a little bit of a building buff for him to allow him to do a little bit more, giving him a little bit of a protect as he is undead, but not so strong and not a very long amount of time. This has a long cooldown. This is meant to give him mostly the ability to generate his own resource so that he's a little bit of a nuisance. He can constantly kind of dish out a little bit of things. Again, this is a raid boss. Now, 10 rage when it comes to level 1 is a third of his rage bar. So at level 4, again, still a third of his rage bar. 33.8%, not percent, 33.8 total rage, which is going to be still about a third of his rage. And then last, again, utilizing about a third of his rage, we got a heal over time, which is really quick. However, he gets a protect during that time frame, so it's only lasts 2 seconds. Okay, so for 2 seconds, he is undamageable, but he's also stunned and he gets health back. Now, this is a 5-second cast time, so what I basically wanted there to be was 7 seconds in total where this guy cannot deal any damage to the players, but the last 2 seconds of it, you cannot deal any damage to him and he gets a little bit back. Now, 10 health is a third of his health. That is huge. That might be too much. We'll see. I want this to be hard. There's no quest attached to him in general, so it's not like you'll actually be asked to go kill him yet. And so for the time being, if players choose to group up and try and take him down, it's just going to be a fun little like thing to do on the side. Now, this last attack, I actually didn't get a chance to decipher what I wanted to make it. I don't know exactly what this should be. I want there to be a little bit of lore here, so I want to think that this has something to do with some kind of pantheonic being, some god that is more on the evil side of things. I'm going to say Call of Varen. We're just going to throw a random name out there. Varen is going to be the name of our evil entity that stalks this universe to some extent. That's all I'm gonna say. We'll build upon that at some later point. And I like this kind of spooky icon with kind of the green raised dead skeleton-y icon. Go ahead and apply that. All right, so that is our throne deserter so far. Now our snaky boy here, let's kind of get him up here. I'm thinking now that I look at him in the sand, I'd like to change his color a little bit because I want him to blend just a little bit more. I also have not made any of his kind of stats. I'm not sure. I think you have to have some kind of resource. If I go like this, I don't know if that makes it so that you can't create abilities, or if I just go like this and make it so that it doesn't take anything. Yeah, that should be fine. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna make this a resourceless enemy. Kind of strange. I know, let's say, I'm going to be kind of tanky, but not crazy. 18, that would put him weaker than a paladin, but stronger than all our other classes. I think, let's do like 15, like so. I want speed to be like kind of obnoxious, but like, not obnoxious, but more like terrifying. Like if this thing gets on top of you, you're just gonna be like, oh crap. And then before we get too far away, we're gonna go model editor. And I want to, let's see, that is the color of the head portion. I want to go a little bit more the sand color, but I'm not sure. I think I gotta go not darker, it's probably lighter. Like there. What did that do to this guy? So yeah, that's actually pretty close. Almost there. Let's see. We go, that's darker. That's too far the other way. That might be about as close as we can get. I think I gotta change this one. Nope, not that one. There we go. This one. There, apply. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good right there. That's pretty close. Obviously in the shadows, it changes things. He's kind of disconnected between the two portions of his body, so I need to fix that a little bit, I think. We also need to change his name from the thief. We're just gonna do something like Rashnor Worm. We're just gonna make up a word, and that's what they're gonna be called. Or we're gonna take a look at the connection point between their body and their neck, because it's a little wonky at the moment. So if I take the head, that's up and down, that's in, that's out. Okay, so that's as far as I could take it, I think. Forward at least. I can shrink it, but I kind of liked it big like that. All right, I'm not sure I can actually fix that all too much. I just think I'm using different pieces of different generic builds parts of this as far as the body and the neck. It's the neck for the turtle as well as the head. I don't even know what the body goes to, but I think that's okay because you can't really see much of it anyways. So that connection point isn't too much of an issue. So I'm not really worried. Now with that being said, we still need to kind of figure out abilities. And for some reason, I like the name Twin Fang for their basic attack because they are kind of a snaky boy. And as a result, I feel like they should have fangs. There's kind of always the bitey mouth maw like this, but don't feel like that works for this case. It's actually really tough to find something for this. Well, I know they're not fangs, but I kind of think this one might kind of work. It's like 2 swords, but we're just going to work with it. And I kind of want upfront damage. Keep it low with a damage over time. As if there's like, I know we have, well, we have a poison effect with spiders. Do I really want to do the same thing here? I don't know. Let's go 0.5, and then let's make this like 0.5 a second for a total of 2. So this would have to be over 4 seconds, but let's make it doable. It's 2.5 damage would be over 4 seconds. Do a 4-second cooldown, they could just repeat it. That's saying 0.3 damage per second. Is that right? That's not right. It's got to be more than that. If you dealt 0.5 per second plus 0.5, that's like a little over 0.6 per second. So I don't know how they're getting this number. Very confused. Because this right here should be 0.6. If I had it set to 0.4 up front, 2 damage over the course of 4 seconds, that's 0.5 per second plus another 0.1. If you kind of did the math here to 0.6 per second. I'm going to apply that. I think I kind of like that actually. We'll nerf it slightly and even do a 0.5 second cast. Yeah, so it's like decent, but it's not crazy. And then I want to do like a tail attack, or maybe like a body slam. That'd be good. And we'll do the earth attack, and then we'll make it like straight, or maybe we just make it like skybeam. No, let's do straight, but then we're gonna make it kind of the same color as the sand and everything too. 2.5, so it's a decent chunk. But then we're gonna bring it into like a 10-second cooldown, 1 second cast. Maybe less than that. Let's go 5-second cast, but then like 5-second cooldown, 3-second cast. So everything's less than 10 there. We need to add flavors too. All right, so we're gonna say the rational worm slams its entire body against its enemy, dealing 8.4 damage at level 4. Yeah, that's good. Let's go back to Twin Fang real quick. The rational worm bites and poisons its enemy on Twin Fang, dealing 1.4 damage and dealing 6.8 damage over 4 seconds at level 4. You change this icon too. Not really any good icons for this one, I feel like. As most things that I feel. This is soul crushing. Well, this one kind of seems like a fissure, like a crack. Like, you know, you'd slam into something and it would break. We'll go with that for now. And then as far as other abilities, I don't know how far I want to take this, but like I wish this is kind of one of those characters or enemies that I wish I could do some kind of speed buff with, like, you know, quickness. Ooh, I know I could do like a burrow. This is really similar now to the Topazosaur if I give them defensive stuff. But what if we go protect, and this is going to be self only. We'll go 100% because they're going underground. You can't find them. Nice and short, 2 seconds. No, let's go 3. Changed my mind that quick. And then they're gonna spring out underneath the player, kind of surprising them, and you're gonna deal 3 damage, like a lot of damage. But this is going to be long cooldown. Cast time 2 seconds. So it's like they cast, you got a time that you can kind of take advantage of, hit them a bunch, then they become invulnerable under the sand, and then they spring out and deal damage to you. That's the concept behind it, at least. I like that. Now, how the heck am I gonna, oh, here we go, perfect. Actually, I just found it right away. This kind of looks like bursting out of the ground, so I'm going to go with that. All right, this is a pretty tough enemy already. Really high DPS, I would assume, because we're giving it all damage abilities, which I kind of like. We've given a lot of weird utility to a lot of our enemies, and right now I don't think we have any enemies that are just purely like offensive that would just obliterate you if you get caught out too much. I don't want to give this any heals. Maybe we could go slow, and we're going to call, we'll call this quicksand. Yeah, that'll be good. So we'll give it a slow, and it's like they basically have control over the sand around them because their body is so long. It's almost like they're underneath the player character at the same time they're fighting it, because their tail maybe curves around a bit, and as a result, they can kind of shift the sand underneath the player character, and as a result cause them to lose their footing. 4 seconds slow. Let's go 5-second cooldown, but then make this a 2.5 second slow. All right, as far as icons on the ground go, I think this might be one of my better ones, although that kind of looks like a teleport. What is this? Maybe that kind of works. It kind of looks like a gate to hell to some extent, but Right now it's quicksand. That's what we're going with. All right, so the Rashnor worm destabilizes the sand around it, slowing the target for 2.5 seconds. That's good. All right, so he's got a pretty good tool set to it now. 3 attacks, decent chunk of damage it's going to be able to do. Optimal DPS 1.0. Okay, well that's not too scary. And 1 debuff, so that's cool. Well, there we go. We got a sandwormy boy, and we've got a deathy stalker raid boss possessed demon from hell type of boy who's kind of phasing through the ground here a bit, but we'll just ignore that. Now, with this in mind, now that we got snaky boys, I'm gonna make some monster zones here with this, and I'd kind of like to, not all of the region around here, but like a good chunk of it. Yeah, we'll kind of go there and then bring it along here. We got the big one there, like a raid boss style one. Kind of put some of this around here and then into here. And I'm going to take it to there so that at least around this tower it's not too dangerous. And then I'm going to put some of these kind of around here and into here as well. So we need something. Oh man, these guys are big and they take up a lot of space. Actually, get rid of this space here and we're just going to expand this one so it's all the same zone. Like so, and that'll actually give some area in here where there's not any danger, kinda. And we're gonna make these not as crowded. Let's go light, minimal. Why does it look like there's so many of them still? Is it just because they're so big? What does crowded look like? Oh my god, it's a hellscape. That is not something I would ever want to deal with. Yeah, we'll go minimal because, man, there seems like there's a lot of them, but it's probably because they're just so big. So let's do that. Plus you got the big guy here. Maybe I move the big guy. Big guy should go like here. Actually, yeah, let's put the big guy here. And then I'm actively going to get rid of part of this section. So he's like kind of taking over this section by himself. Because the player can't cross here. So this isn't really a danger early on. They have to go all the way through here. They'll probably do some other stuff before they end up coming over to this area. Now, I need a reason to come over here. We'll get to that in a second. I like the fact that this Topazosaur has just kind of occupied this hill by himself, and he is an elite. People don't have to fight him. Hopefully they won't, because he's so cute, and I love him, and I don't want him to get ever hurt ever. But I do want to have a couple more of these big snaky boys. So I'm going to make another elite one. And he's going to go over here by this tower. And he'll be by himself. And let's make another one over here. There's like 3 elite ones. Actually, what I should do, now that I think about it, let's take the elite guys. And we're going to kind of put them in the crevices here. As like, that's why... I need you, please. That's why players wouldn't want to go down into these regions. They don't want to go down here because it's occupied by giant, massive sandworms. Can I make this just minimal? So we've got a couple areas that players can actively go to fight things if they want to grind a little bit. Now I'll expand this kind of into the rest of this here. Here we go. Now if I go to the interact view, now we've got like these big segments where there's just, yeah, it's just gonna be snakes scattered about, making the roads a little unsafe, or a bit unsafe, maybe a lot unsafe. I don't know, it seems pretty unsafe to me. Okay, and then what I wanted to do here as well, I'm gonna kind of build out, can I add some modular buildings? We're gonna grab the kind of hut ones, like we've utilized in other locations. We'll put one there and like one here. Maybe another one. That. 4 starters, and then I'm gonna build them out a little bit. There we go. Kind of, that's, yeah, I want it to look rudimentary. Like it's not great engineering, but I would like a couple of huts on these things as well. Will that stay there? No. There we go. That, yeah, that works. Keep that there, that's good. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I didn't really want that, but that kind of works. Kind of like that too. Let's expand off this way maybe. There we go. Oh, didn't want to get, nope, don't want to get rid of those. Thank you. Ooh, double there. That's good. Okay, let's keep that for now. Let's put another one in here. and doing it like... Okay, like that, like a little corner tower there. I don't want to go too far into here this way because it's decreasing the height of this thing, and that's already problematic actually. If I get rid of this, does that kind of fix it? Not really. It's actually this building, I think, that's screwing it up. Oh, there's a piece on the backside that was buried underground there. Maybe if I place that... Oh, that... Okay, that's interesting. Not what I planned. That's a little bizarre. Maybe if I get rid of that. That's probably even more bizarre. Okay, let's get rid of this. And maybe that starts to fix that. No, it's still weird. Okay. Let's just put you down here. Still weird. Okay. Go like that. That's... Man, okay. Maybe I don't do this at all. What if I just get rid of that and just have the one tower? Nope. Still even weirder. Okay, I'm going to kind of move it to there. And maybe I don't even want this section. Let's get rid of that. And then I just kind of create like the... Not gateway, but like... entrance of whatever sorts here. That, there we go. And then I'll still add on a couple here. Ooh, and then it adds one there. That's good. So I want there to be like this little mini fortress here. Need to get rid of that still. Oh, self-corrected. Look at that. Perfect. If I add that back, does it... Oh no, that's actually perfect like that. You just need to, yeah, there we go. Put the hut back. Perfect. All right, now here, I want NPCs, but I want these to actually be, I want these to be like friendly kobolds. That's the goal. And they're not like super organized, I guess. But we're gonna put, no, actually, let's just kind of put them all down here. Like so, and then I'll move these guys. So there's a lot of these kind of, I don't even know if I'd say friendly, but these guys are not going to hurt you. But I do want enemy kobolds right behind them, and I'm hoping these guys aren't going to... Oh, shoot. Need to rotate my camera and I always screw that up. We're going to go like this. Into here, I think. Kind of wrap around. Over to kind of hug it as much over here as we can. We're gonna have like a kobold political dispute. Let's make 2 elite kobolds, so some big beefy boys back there. And just like in the other province in Brightwood, where there was one kobold that was like rising up against, the kobolds have like kind of this patriarchal system where, you know, the bigger and the stronger ones tend to always be in control, or matriarchal, really doesn't matter, whichever one happens to be bigger. But some of the kobolds actively are against this. These are, I don't know, these are the woke kobolds, I guess. Look at all these woke kobolds, so woke. That is a lot of detail there, actually. Look at all the teeth. Well done, Vector Storm, well done. Anyways, we've got the old school kobolds versus the woke kobolds. And then we need a kobold quest giver. We'll make a kobold quest giver. And then what we should actively have too is a couple of guards here. Oh, no, not quest givers. I didn't want to do that. Too expensive. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Make them go delete, undo. There we go. Just some regular guards. Some Zafirian guys as well. We'll bring this guy kind of out here, like he's talking to these guys. And then we should build like a camp for these guys as well. Put up some like protective barriers here. Kind of like that. So these guys are actively helping these kobolds revolt against the other ones. I don't know, they're just kind of into some kind of promoting uprising, I suppose. They don't like the current rulers of the kobolds because they're uncivilized, and maybe they attack the town as well and steal things, And these kobolds are a little bit more up to date on things, and they're a little bit more like, hey, you know, we can have our own society and we don't have to steal from everyone else. So yeah, now there's a kobold civil war. Kind of have to expand on this a little bit. I'll have to do some detailing because this could get pretty wild actually. And these guys should actually be supplying weapons. So they should actually be like helping out the kobolds with superior firepower as well. So we'll put a couple of crossbows on here. Use some tricks here to kind of go like this. Some Zafirian guys up here to man that. As well as down here. We'll probably need more to this camp, to be honest. Add one of this other type of tent. But we'll say they're kind of undersupplied here as well. This is all they've got. They're undersupplied, so that's part of the reason why you're going to come and help. Okay, now we need to have something that's going to direct them over here. So, well, actually, I have an idea who's going to direct them, but I don't want to do it quite yet. Let's kind of leave it as is, but this is a good little starting point for this this thing. For the time being, before we leave this, though, let's get this guy, and this is Rekiudos the Wise. Let's just call him Rekiudos. Now, he's got quests. He wants you to fight, not rasher worms. He's going to have you go and... well, actually, first, he should have you do some kind of negotiation. So actually, let's have him take out... You gotta go take out one of the elites. You're supposed to go negotiate, and it turns into them just wanting to kill you more.
The negotiations were short.
So he says, go intimidate Frost Tusk, and we'll make this... Let's just make it a solid 2,000. I do like that. And he wants you... He'll give you 20 gold. They're well-funded, the kobolds, apparently. And instead of left sock, after you return... because you're going to have to fight that guy because that's how the game mechanics work thus far. Then it's just all-out war. So he's going to send you over to kill some kobolds, and you're just going to wipe out as many as possible. I actually like the idea of high experience on this one. And as far as this territory goes, let's go ahead and make it crowded. Yeah, that's good. There we go. We're going to call this Misguided Brothers. And maybe not 16. We'll just take it down to 10. As such. Yes, you can see some of the guards are going to actively fight off some of these guys as they get in close. So there will be combats that occur, which is kind of cool. It makes it look like it kind of a little bit of an active war zone, which is what we want. And then what it might actually be a good idea, this is a good time to actively look at the design of the kobolds, because right now they only have one ability, which was their starting ability. I don't want to give the level 1 kobolds back in Brightwood any more abilities, so what we'll do is we're going to pause this. We'll bring up the kobolds, we're going to add an ability, but then we're going to change this to... We'll change this to level 2 so that the starting area kobolds don't have this ability. And I just want this to be a taunt. So it's going to be a weaken to the enemy of 20%. It's going to last, let's say 6 seconds to start. I don't know if that's going to end up being too much in the long term, but not too shabby. I think 10-second cooldown, so it's not active all the time. I like a little bit of a cast time, and then, yeah, a missile range on it, so like they're shouting it. I don't really have a good icon for taunt, so we're just going to do this one because it's like a hand. It looks like it's pointing at them and laughing. Perfect. So now the kobolds have a debuff. Oh, this wants me to create a new starting ability. Okay, no, never mind. We don't need that. Yeah, so we'll see how they do with a taunt and their normal candle ability. I think that's good for this area. Okay, and then another idea that I kind of have in terms of the grand scale of this region. There's one more big piece. Now, this is a piece that I feel like doesn't really involve the modern history of it in terms of this is something that's going to be before the city was even built here. So, without further ado, I'd like to add some ancient components of this. So before I do that, what I'm going to do is I want to add in some more of these rocks. So I want there to be more of these cliff sides utilizing these rock pieces, these assets, in this upside down feature, kind of like this. So I'm going to do a little bit of detailing along here, especially where these worms are. So we will grab our rocks. Now, there's also this rock that got added in not too long ago. I think this came with the nature update. I don't know if this works too much in the region per se right now. It kind of could. I'll see if it fits somewhere. Potentially, it could Could fit upside down somewhere as like, I can never remember which one's upside down, stalagmites or stalactites, but one of those two. For the time being though, we're gonna flipsy-doodly one of these, and that is almost there. That's pretty upside down. Nope, not quite. There we go, that's pretty good. Simple move. If I do this kind of on the edge of the enemy territory here, then it kind of looks like this area was all kind of this sedimentary rock, but then portions of it broke away sooner than others. It wore away to some extent. I'm going to increase the size of some of these so we kind of add some cooler looking portions. Yeah, there we go. Point here. There we go, kind of create some layers and some steps to it, get a big long cliffy surface here, and I'll kind of add maybe 1 or 2 pieces along there to add some height to it as well. It's a little too, like, not symmetrical, but little too, I don't know what the right word is, like it looks too designed by humans, by me. So I'm gonna kind of go add some more features in here, some layers to it. Yeah, kind of go like that. So let's add one down here. Let's go smaller. We get some little pieces, then go big again. Yeah, kind of like there's one there. Doesn't quite connect to these other features. Let's do this center big islandy piece here. This kind of I had some intent with. We'll do a couple big ones around it. Yeah, I like the way it kind of creates these big cliff sides a little bit. Then let's shrink. Even that out. That. It's okay if they're pretty level, because in a not a perfect world, I should say, but in a world where, actually I'm gonna delete this one. In a world where these things actually would exist, the layers that are the hardest surfaces of the sedimentary layers are gonna always stay the longest in terms of erosion. So if the layer was the hardest, that's hardest to break down, is kind of all the same here, it would kind of stay to some extent looking like this, which is, it's unique. It's why when you look at areas like this in certain portions of deserts that have steps in them, it's really cool to see those layers that just kind of stay permanently, and then sometimes stuff underneath them breaks down faster, and you get these weird layer effects. Kind of put one maybe along this cliff here. That's good. Shrink them down a little bit. Give some texture to these. Then we'll go smaller ones to add some of the character in here. We should probably have some along here as well. Yeah, that's good. That way there's like kind of this canyon-y feel like this too. That's what I want to have in there. Okay. Now the reason that players can't really pass through this area is because we're going to put essentially some of these big bad boys scattered in here. Put just a couple. Close enough, but not too close to the little community here. So that people know, like, hey, you can't walk this way, because it's just too dangerous. Yeah, there's a lot of snakes here, but for good reason. That's why nobody lives in that spot. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of create some layers here as well. So it kind of goes all the way around that hill and then connects with where the layers build up on the other side here. Let's go align to surface, then place on objects, so we can kind of add a couple here. Now I need to be careful because the airship travels through here, so we can't add anything in its way, but we can kind of add stuff along the edge here, so there's some feel. Ooh, is that going to touch anything? No, that looks good. Okay, so we'll leave that as is. Let's shrink this down a bit. We'll still add a couple in here, kind of make it scale down as it goes. Maybe add a tiny one in here, just like that. Perfect. Okay, and then I like the feel of it being like high cliff sides over here, in the back section. Not back section, but on this half. And then as it moves toward this area, it kind of steps down. And then this is an area that's more broken down sound particles. So the sedimentary rock has kind of been broken down so much over time that there's really just sand particles over on this half of the region. Really quick, we just had our friend Istriage, I don't know how to pronounce that. Pronounce that however the heck you want. We can change the name if we want to. Actually, that gives me a really good idea. Hold on. Since I can't pronounce this guy's name, Tayton McNichol, you wanted a ranger player named after you, and you wanted that ranger to be named Sir X God. So Sir X God is now a player. He is a ranger class, and by the way, this is the first character that ever made it to level 3. So you were the first character to actually make it into the province of Eastwash as well. And I think as it stands, you're actually the only person in this entire region. So you just get to kind of have free reign. You're like that person in the beta release of the game who's like discovering all the cool things that no one else has ever seen before. So good on you, Tayton McNichol, and your character, Mr. Sir X God. Now, what the hell was it that I was doing? I can't remember. Oh, right. I was going to do some things with the landscaping, and then that was leading into the thing with the thing that I haven't explained the thing yet. So I need to grab the rocks, and I want to use the curvy rocks, but I don't want them, I don't want to line to surface, but I want them to be flat. Hold on, I need water. Do the old watery trick where we go like this, and then flat, and then, yeah, I don't want to place on object. There we go. Okay, now there's super secret stuff here, because what I'm trying to do is line up, now you can kind of barely make it out here. I'm trying to line up the, actually I do want place on object. Place on object, oop, too far. I want to line up the towers here, because I made them in a triangle formation for a reason. So I need to find the spot like kind of right in the middle of these two. This is where the rock should be. So I need to kind of rotate this, and maybe I should, hold on. We're gonna do a temporary thing here. Let's do something kind of big. Is this kind of big? And that's not really kind of big. I want it to be a little obnoxious. There we go. Okay, so if I go like this, and then try and line this up toward the other tower. This is not a thing. We're not actually building a wall here. Nobody freak out. That's not really in line, is it? Nope, it's not really in line. Delete this, get rid of it, goodbye. Try that again. Okay, so it has to be in between the two towers, and then this has to be lined up about like that. There we go. Does that look good? It's pretty close. It's pretty dang close. This is only acting as a guiding mechanism. I need to grab my rocks, my curvy rocks specifically. And now, without having to look at the towers themselves, I'm going to kind of arrange this, that. And we're going to flip this like that. And these are, I mean, it's kind of curved to one side, so that's maybe not necessarily a problem. The height is an issue, but that is another factor we're going to throw in here. So with that there, now I'm going to delete the wall. Yeah, these are kind of in the right spot. However, precise move, we're gonna go boop 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 deep. And then without any annoying sound effects, we're gonna take this one back about the same amount. And then we'll double check this. Sure, that looks okay. Has that rock always been there? I don't know. Anyways, back to precise move. Now, this is where things are going to get a little bit cray-cray. We're going to take this. Nope, wrong. That's the wrong rock. Cancel. I want this rock. Thank you. Let's try that again. Move this up to a weird height so that the obelisk portions kind of fall in between this. Now we're going to place that. It's going to float. It's going to levitate. Don't worry. Things will all come to fruition. Actually, let's go slightly down with both. Place like so. There we go. I realize this started out as just kind of an open deserty region, and now it's become just a total cluster beep of like total rock formations and stuff. But you know You know, things have to happen to make places look interesting, so deal with it. I didn't mean to be that rude. That was a little bit mean. I should have just said, you know, things happen. Things change, the world evolves. We all gotta learn to just find out what our role is and best fulfill it so that we can help all society. Okay, so we're gonna put these guys here. I think I might scale these down actually, because maybe they're a little too big. Let's go 0.8, like on the, let's go the small end of 0.8, so 0.7, and as soon as it clicks over right there, and then we'll do the same to this one, so they're not overwhelming. 0.7, and then, oop, too far. Perfect. Actually, then, no, that's good. That's a good size and height for those, right there-ish, thereabouts. Okay, so I want that to be kind of in between the two towers, and then, nope, not that one. We want these rocks. We're gonna go a little bit on the big side. We're gonna go align to surface, place on object now. I think, yeah, there we go. If I just flip this like so, I'm gonna hit X, and then should give us the ability to play around with this a little bit. So we're gonna lower it so that it's relatively even to those. Then we will use the scaling tool to bring it up, and then probably drop this about there. Does that look like, yeah, that is on there as such. Okay, and then we'll automatically have the next one the right size, and we'll just kind of throw it right underneath here, kind of flip it around a little bit to start with, hit X, and then we can drop it down, and this way, and this way, and we'll probably rotate that a little bit too. So it's like a weird, bizarre, like those rocks didn't erode away because they were actively holding up some weird magical phenomenon. Yeah, there we go. I like that. And those just kind of stay there, and they're gonna beg the question for a while. Now, to counteract those, not to counteract them, but to act as similar icons. Now, just to verify, these were 0.8. We're gonna kind of find a spot in between this this obelisk and this one. They're more like ziggurats. I don't know if they're ziggurats, or I would consider these ziggurats as far as size and everything. I'm going to put kind of one here, and then we'll flip this one. We'll kind of nonchalantly put it there. We will mess with those in a second, and then between this one down here and this one, we're going to go one here and one here, and we'll mess with those as well. So what we'll do with this is we're going to grab this one, and now we just get to kind of play with it. This one's going to kind of be, let's go like that, and then drop it into the sand. So it's barely exposed like that. There we go. And then this one, gonna drop this way, and we'll bring it down here like so. Place it there. Like these were kind of supposed to be in the same formation as those, but they have kind of gotten lost in time a little bit. I kind of want to bring this one a little bit more out of place. Let's drop, oh, I can't really drop it that way. Let's go like this, and then drop like that. That works. That adds some character to that portion. And then these two over here, just like that. So it's almost like that one's hidden. You can't really tell what it was supposed to be, but there's a weird rock there now. And then this one gonna drop into the sand. Can't really go all that deep with it. Ooh, I like that, kind of covered up partially. Can I drop it any? Nope, it actually doesn't like that. Let's do the growth trick. Drop it, shrink it until, there we go, get it covered up. Perfect. So there's other portions of these. There was supposed to be that kind of circular rock formation between each piece of the triangle of the ziggurats. Who knows what mysteries of magic it may reveal. Alright, and then what I wanted to do is kind of create a barrier here, actually, between this kind of Kobold Civil War area that we just developed and the woodcutters area that's illegally going on in this portion. So I'm going to utilize the red rock portions. So utilizing these in a flat variety. Now I need to be careful because obviously we've got the airships here. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go like this, but then I'm going to sink it to a point where it looks like it's clearing, but I'm going to shrink it as well. Bring that down a little bit. Let's grab one of these fat ones here, shrink that as well, come out a little bit. So we kind of create this, not tunnel, but kind of like a little crevice area. Place that, and then I want to actively put one on top here as well. But again, kind of limiting hitting the airship. Cleverly put one here, shrink slightly, drop down slightly. I kind of wanted that to line up, so let's go like that. I'm not too fond of the color difference there. Maybe I shrink it more. Tilt, drop. Go like that, so this is gonna get a little wonky potentially, but I want this layer to look like it was meant with that layer with that layer, and this one kind of, I don't know, shifted down for some reason because it's on a slope. Something like that. Actually, you know what? I know exactly what I'll try and do. I can try and grow this. Can I sink it and shrink it? That. But then if I take this, yeah, then it's gonna be a problem because of that. So if I grow, drop, shrink, oh, it's too big. Then take this one and have it grow. Oh, not that much. That. Create a layering system like this. I like the fat ones because they provide a little bit more of a base. So let's try to add a layer here. It lines up with the one below there. Doesn't really make too much sense actually when you think about it from the perspective of these layers add up, but then there's this random brown one here. But again, if you go and look at rocks, they're not too perfect either. Let's grab one of these. There we go, kind of go like that. So there's some unique formation. Actually, you know what? I'm not liking this. Let's get rid of that. I like what's going on up here. That way, at least there's still a walkthrough area and kind of a reveal. And until that point, yeah, you're not giving too much away. Yeah, I'm okay with this. That actually works like that. I don't want to do anything else to it. Something I should start to take advantage of is the fact that I can look at the content within this area. There's a ton of modular buildings, obviously. Holy crap, there is. Didn't realize it was that bad. We should look at NPCs and begin to look at all of our quest givers and make sure we're getting some applicable stuff going here. Okay, so this province requires a total of 56,000 experience, and right now we only have 18,730, which means we are technically only 33.4% of the way there. We have a bit of quest building to do yet, which is actually okay because there's a few quest givers that have plenty of room to expand upon, and we can always add more. First and foremost, we've got our little guy down here that we never got to do too much with. Now, I think I did a little bit of this with the end of the last episode, the portion that did not get included at the end due to the recording file, giving me a bit of trouble. It's not a soft spot, I swear. All right, so he's got one of those quests where we have the player character talk to him directly. So it says run for your life because he knows there's some stuff going on over here at the prison. Terrible stuff. So he's trying to warn people before they go into the area. But then he also has you go and kill some skeletons because why not? We need some combat experience as well. This is included in the total this far that I just gave you. So with that in mind, I think what he should also do, because he sends you to... Yeah, he sends you to speak to Commander Beltris, but before that, I'm wondering maybe one more quest before that one. Yes, we'll move that up, and we're going to make this take you to the watchtower here. And the watchtower is a little rickety, so this will be like we need to fix the watchtower. We're going to call this repairs on the old tower. He hasn't been giving a ton of experience, but... maybe 500 additional for this one. Give you 5 gold to go check it out. And what he's doing is he's asking for what you think is needed for repairs. So what he's actually going to say is, and I've got a reason for why he's about to do this. He's going to tell you to go over here on the back and steal from this building. That's the the guild that builds the airships, and he wants you to go steal from that because we're gonna make this warden Rotlick, and as a warden he is okay with taking from the guilds that are oh so greedy in town. I didn't mean to drop that. Keep that up, please. Thank you. Because I need to change this from not locate the princess. We're gonna call this in air quotes borrowing supplies. So he wants you to go to the Windbanes, which are the guild that control the airship building, and you're going to quote unquote borrow supplies. We'll make this a tougher quest. I think 2200 is okay. He'll pay you to do it, so that way his overall quest is worth a lot more. So that adds a good chunk. So we added a bit of experience, bringing our total to 21,470. Now the other thing that Commander Beltris is going to do that I don't have quite yet is he's going to send you kind of along the main quest. So the main quest overall takes you to Zafir as a whole. Now in Zafir it takes you to the guild master that controls the water guild, the water controlling guild, and he eventually sends you over to this region to talk to Commander Beltris, deal with the prison situation. There's a lot more details in the prison situation I will get to in just a second, but eventually at the end of Commander Beltris' quest line, he will send you back up to the divide up here. So for the time being, I want to put another quest giver up here, and this is going to be just a generic guard for starters. Too close to obstruction. Is that because it's in a pass? I think it's because it's in a pass. So where can I actively place one of these? We'll put him right here at the fork for the time being. Now he's just going to live here alone, unfortunately. But we will take Commander Beltris, and we're going to be, let's see, he can have 2 more big quests, but we'll create his final one to start with. And this is going to take you over to the guy we just placed. That will send you on your way to continue the quest line of return, or not return. It will send you on the quest line, the road to Valkyrin, which is the one that will take our players to the main capital city of the Empire. So for now, he sends you on your way this way, and we will continue to call this the road to Valkyrin. This is going to be a big experience dump. I'm going to make this like a good chunk, 5,200 gold. This is kind of that climactic point in the overall province of Zafir that kind of has you exit, so it should have an experience dump. So with that in mind, we'll add 5,000 to our total, bringing us to 26,470. Now, as he has in here, he has Dead Men Walking, which is the one that just has you go to the tower. He has Look for Survivors, which is go over here. I'm going to make one that goes before the ending one here. And I want this to be, this would be like an escort quest. We're going to call this the Grand Escape. I'm just going to have you, yes, you, the players, the players of the game, kill skeletons. And this is basically as a response to the concept of once you go over here and you find the escaped prisoners and guards, you would have to escort them back to escape through all the skeletons. So you might as well just have them kill a bunch. And this would be like a kind of a theatrical scripted quest line where there'd be like cool things going on, big enemies that pop out of random areas and such and whatnot. So I want it to be worth a bit of experience, plus you get to kill some skeletons. Then what he should do is ultimately send the player back this direction. So I'm thinking after you help the players, you should kind of go somewhere specifically, and I'm kind of thinking the building that had the wardens in it, so he would kind of be like, hey, you might be able to help this group out over here. So it's another kind of callback to the Warden's questline if the players never find Warden Helios, who would take them that direction anyways. And because it's more of just a directional quest, we're going to make this just a 500, no, not 5,000, 500, no gold. We're going to call this Prodigy. So those 2 quest lines added on brings us to 29,210. Now, we also have this quest giver over here, which I believe we've done virtually nothing with. Now he has quests in here, but I didn't add these numbers to our total yet. We've already got 2 quests that involve us killing skeletons. So I feel like that's a little redundant. So once you're over here, let's give the player a kind of experience dump. So we'll have them talk to this person. This is going to be a dialogue thing. We're going to call this You're Our Only Hope, except I'm going to capitalize hope because that's how titles work. And we'll say for getting over here, we'll give the player a decent amount of experience, but no gold because this character wouldn't really be able to pay you. He's just desperate to escape. I'm gonna call this alternate routes. I want the player to actively be searching for an area that maybe they could escape that's you know, other than obviously what's available. So maybe I want to bring them over here to this spot, kind of. Yeah, so why don't I put another guard over here? Now this guard is going to be kind of in permanent combat with these skeletons, which is fine. So he'll kill them all real quick. That's fine. Alar the Bold, he's going to have you basically go over and talk to this guy that he sent over there to search for alternate routes, see what he's found out. You do have to make your way into the skeleton zone and kind of sit there a little bit. Oop, this changed the name. Change that back. It's not too hard, so we'll just say 1,000 at this point. Still, again, no gold on these. But with that being said, we've got 2,500 experience that we can add, or 31,710. Now, I think that's enough for that guy. Really quick, before I forget, I actively want to create a side quest. So similar to the way I did in Brightwood, I created Alger, the evil wizard. I'm not going to create an evil wizard, but I want to create like a side quest that is kind of off in the boonies by itself that you kind of got to go explore a little bit to find. So I'm literally going to create this one singular little hut out here. Put one little door on it. I'll close off this side. Maybe we add one window, a little window there. I think I'd like a, ooh, should I make it a tower? No, but I would like the dome top. There we go. Just like that, by itself on the side of the hill. And we're allowed to put one little quest giver, but it can't be too high because there's a mountainside here that it's preventing me from doing anything. We'll make one little spider icon, and I can't tell if there's one that exists there or not because I think I clicked, but I don't think it added anything. My quest givers are still the same. If I add one down here and then move them, where are you gonna go? Your move path says you're gonna end up down here. Nope, you're fine there. Okay, that works. Perfect. I'm gonna put a few rocks around here just to look like this is somewhat secluded, but then also kind of like built into the rock face a little bit. Like it goes deeper than what you think it might actually be. Alright, so we kind of got a little bit of a dugout thing here. Now, the players, remember, they're going to go on the airship into town, and we haven't really given them a reason to come out here, but some people might be grinding out in this area just fighting our sandworms, so they might come across this little guy. And let's go ahead and call this the Worm Fang Hunt, and he just wants you to take out some worms here. But we'll say there's a couple of different types of worms. Like maybe they vary a little bit over from dune to dune. I don't know. So let's just say 4 here to kill. Let's say you get tons of experience for finding this guy, so we'll just make this really, really high on all these fronts. We'll kind of, let's see, let's change this one to hunt these worms. And I'm actively going to make this a little bit more experience than that even. So each one of these is a little bit better. Still only 4 worms. Actually, this changed again. So this should be Worm Fang Hunt. And maybe the worms on the other side of this ridge. This is where you do the Worm Tail Hunt. And then we'll add one more, and this is going to be this one, which is technically impossible to get to at the moment. This will be the Worm Eye Hunt, 3,000 experience, 100 gold, and then he's just going to send you after that to sell all of this for him in town. He knows a vendor who will sell these rare pieces named Monster Tamer Boba. Bloba, not Boba, Bloba. Big experience dump here. Now this is all a bonus. Actually, let's make this just 1,000, but then we'll give like a huge gold bump, 250 gold. Okay, now what I don't want to do is actively add this little guy's experience to the total for the region. I could, I guess, in theory, but because he's a side quest, I mean, he gives a ton, 8,704 additional experience, but because he's hard to find, I don't want it to be part of the normal requirement. Plus, there's the experience from all the combat you'll do under that too. So if somebody finds this, they'll level up quicker. Let's go ahead and assume maybe half of that in a perfect world. So we'll assume at this point we actually have 36,000 experience. Remember, we need 56,000. So we have a bit more to do here. If you remember correctly, down here in the kind of, not central part of town, but near the entrance where we have these kind of main suspension bridges, down here in this building, I created an opening. I'm going to create another quest giver down here. Actually, do I want this to be? No, I've got a better idea. We're going to make the quest giver outside. We'll make this one of our kind of guild members here. But then I actively also want to create an enemy inside of there. So I'm going to create, I want it to be an elite because obviously it's a single unit. So if I create this guy in here, is he going to, it might create an issue with other guards in the area. So I'm going to move this guy up here, this guy kind of over here. Let's keep this quest giver maybe toward the road. This guy's just kind of living in here. I'm going to put him right in the middle. All right, so this guy here, he's kind of phasing through walls a little bit. We're going to call this Guthern Ananpool, just like the other guild member who is in charge. Now, this guy is actually the ringleader. Guthern is going to be the ringleader, and he's puppeting the other Ananpool member of the family who is actively kind of heading the city council over here. So what we're going to do is this guy's going to be kind of his goon who's going to give you quests to do for him, but actively the only time you meet him is kind of in the grand finale quest when you have to actually bring him down. So right now he's going to say, hey, we need you to go and talk to, I want the bandits involved. That's actually what I wanted. Or we're going to go over here and you're going to talk to, or you're going to go in the building and he wants you to kind of, he wants you to go renegotiate the contract with the Woodcutters Guild. And they're actively not going to like that one bit whatsoever. As a result, the next quest is going to be a revolt by the Woodcutters Guild, and it'll actually give you a double opportunity. So because the negotiation doesn't work out, it's going to create unrest. Now, actually, I don't want this quest to actually be the one to go fight them. We'll make a Warden's quest that does that. So theoretically, the two would kind of be going side by side. So for the time being, let's get rid of this one. We'll kind of build both of these out together. Now I need to create kind of a ringleader for our wardens. So we'll create a quest giver Zafirian fighter, and we'll kind of, well, I can't really put him in the building there, but I can put him here. And then I'll slide him into the building, but to a point where he's like technically visible to those on the road. So I need to kind of, yeah, we'll kind of place him here. And his first quest is, okay, so you went to renegotiate and they're not too happy, but we need you to take out the woodcutters. So cut down to size. This will be a big experience dump. And actively, as soon as I make this quest go over here, it's going to change the name. Yeah, rechange that back down. Cut down to size, and he's going to have you take down 12 of them. Let's keep the 2240 on the experience. We'll delete his second quest for now. So it's like you're going to do both of these, helping the wardens slowly chisel away and take down this head guild. So we're going to go back over here now after we couldn't negotiate the contract anymore. And then you actively go and take down the Woodcutters Guild, which is kind of like a sub guild. It's not really have any power in any case. And then this guy's going to be confused, like, oh my gosh, did you hear that somebody took down all the woodcutters? So then it's like, okay, we need to think of how we can rearrange how we're gaining profits and how we're doing things in town. So there's a lot of value in some of the body parts for these snakes. So you're going to go over here and he's going to have you just try and take out 2 of them. And he's going to have you, this is going to be test pelts. Let's just make 1,000 experience. But again, a decent amount of gold, 25, because they don't really know anything about the sandworms. So ultimately, that might lead the player character to this guy up here who actually knows a bit more about it. But that's just, again, just a little side quest. All right, we need to change this guy's name actually too. We're going to call this Grand Warden Vren. So after you try and get some pelts, he's going to actively say, no, actually, we should be protecting the animals of the desert. So he ultimately doesn't agree with what this guy's doing up here. But, so let's have the warden send you to the first ziggurat of Zafir here. And he's going to say there's an ancient story about the ziggurats and what they were actually built to do, which is going to help us revitalize and bring back the power of this region. And I want to keep this high experience. Let's say 1500. So we're going to call this Legend of the Ziggurats. Okay, so that's 2 there. We'll go back to this guy for number 3. And he's going to actively send you over here because he wants you to also deal with the issue in this region. He'd rather the civil war between the kobolds be resolved, because the kobolds ultimately actually do provide a strategic standpoint that if the guilds can control them, they create a defensive position through the passage here into the next region. So he'll direct you over here just to the building. Actually, you know what, we'll just take it a step further. We'll actively make it so that he sends you to the quest giver here as well. And we'll just call this End the Uprising, and we'll make this just 1,000. 20-ish gold is fine. And then while you're doing that, since you're over in that region, the Grand Warden is gonna have you check out Ziggurat number 2, and he's going to tell you a story about how the landscape was partially formed by the winds in the area, but also by ancient streams themselves and water that runs off from the great mountains just to the north, and how it shapes the landscape, and how these ziggurats played a role in the livelihood of this region at an ancient time in history, and that water no longer runs the same way it used to here. We'll make this 1500 as well. And then quest number 4 here, he's actively going to take you back. Actually, I think he takes you over here and he expects you to take down the massive Topazosaur known only as Stonehorn. And this should be huge. I'm going to say 3,000 experience with an additional 200 gold. This is a massive undertaking that's going to require a party, because this guy is nasty. And we're going to call this Mounting on the Wall. Now the player character can choose not to do this quest line. In the grand scheme of if this was an actual game, it would be like a big narrative deciding portion, like, do you want to take down this majestic beast, or would you help the guild kind of do it just for the glory of having a trophy? And then we'll return to the Warden again. His next one will take you to the 3rd ziggurat, which is actually back by where you started, easier to get to. And we're going to call this Lush No More. He tells an ancient story about how Zafir used to be, in the time of the old gods, a grand mountain. And at its peak is where the historians will say the gods themselves lived and ruled the land. And when a great battle undercame, when they were fighting over power and who would be the next one to take over command of the region that is the entire landscape and continents of this world, they ended up destroying each other. And as a result, it was devastatingly catastrophic to the landscape, and the mountain was completely wiped away, leaving nothing but a barren desert. The ancient magics in the area, however, mages, scholars, those that wanted to rebuild and reclaim its glory, found a way to create a lush green landscape, a forest, a jungle so dense that it's really just mystery and mythical power at this point. And that nobody knows really why that power was lost. And the only thing that remains of that ancient lush green magical forest are the 3 ziggurats that stand. But the power that connected them, the power that brought them together and linked them, is no longer connecting them. And thus it just fades into legend. So anyways, we're just gonna make this 1500 experience again. And gold, yeah, we keep it at 10. So he's like that. Now he has one more quest he can hand off, which is good. We will return to Counselor Omarath one more time. He is going to basically say, okay, now that we have done all the glorious things for this guild, the last thing you must do is you're going to have to take out the other guild leader in a stealth mission. So he's going to send you over to this building for the time being, because what I am going to do is I'm going to create another character back here, and we'll create some buildings, I think, to kind of house these characters. But I want a legendary bandit character we'll put back here, and then let's go back to our quest giver, and we're just going to say End the Windbanes. Of course, as soon as I adjust this and put it on the actual character we need to take out, it's Gonna change the name. End the Windbanes. We'll change this guy's name to Proctor Windbane, leader of the Windbane Guild that controls the airship production. So this guild is actively having you take out the other guild, and then, just like he had planned all along because he is a mastermind, come back here. The Grand Warden Vren, his last quest is going to be to have you take out the leader of the Annenpool Guild. So he is going to take you over here, and I gotta click on this guy. There we go. We're going to call this Dried Up Luck because they are the guild that controls the water. We're going to make this 3,500 for the time being with a big 300 gold bounty. No, not 3,300. Perfect. So his total experience 10,240 brings us to 46,240. And then our friend here, Counselor Omarath, who had you doing all the other quest lines, he comes to 8,240, bringing us to 54,480. Now this is very easily adjustable. We technically need 1,520 experience. So if I take his final quest, and let's do this. I'm just gonna make this a solid 4,000 with a 300 gold bounty on it as well. And then all I have to do is move in here. Not in there, sorry. I take that back. I need to go to the Warden and make his last one 4,000. That adds 500 for his and well over 1,500 for the other one, bringing us easily over 56,000 in total due to the amount of combat that we are going to be doing in this region between fighting worms, fighting kobolds, fighting bandits, fighting skeletons. If the player character does everything there is to offer in this region, they will hit the next level of level 5. If they hit our little side quest, they will actively get even more than that potentially, or just level up early. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the experience and leveling is actually done in the region of Zafir. The only things yet to be done are some detailing work for the most part, and that'll come with time. I think what I might do is have one of those off-screen building things, unless I have something pretty extravagant planned. If that's the case, then I might kind of do one of those long build, sped up videos again. But I think we're getting to the point where we're about ready to wrap this one up here and move on to the next region, which brings up the massive question of where we head to next once again. If you have not voted yet, please go down to the description below on this video. I have a straw poll that I have created to vote for what will be the next region. It will be either region number 1, region number 2, or region number 3. Those descriptions, or rather teasers, of what the questline goals are going to be in each one of those regions is in the straw poll. Please go ahead and vote if you have not yet. And I think that next episode, we might have a reveal to show. So, please participate. And until next time, I'm Kyle. This has been that one playthrough of MMORPG Tycoon 2. And I hope you have a wonderful day.